All right, let's do it. I'm meteorologist Ben Peine here. It is Ben at 10 for this Tuesday, July the 8th. Kind of scary how fast we're moving through July and moving through the year 2025 as well. We're on this spaceship called Earth, just zooming through space, and it seems like time is speeding up. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Thanks for joining me on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Peine, right there. Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, and extolmag.com/weather. So we're off to a humid start out there. Even though this weather pattern is very repeatable, muggy, occasional pop-up showers and thunderstorms, I think, still have plenty to cover here and talk about, and we'll do our best to time out some of these occasional showers and thunderstorms. Now, today looks a lot drier than yesterday. I'm giving it like a 10% chance or less of a stray shower. So we'll take a look outside here and take a look at the radar and satellite as we get going on Ben at 10 this morning. And there you can see a mix of some clouds, which kind of looks humid out there, and a little blue sky mixing in as well. And actually we have a high UV index for today, despite some of the cloud cover that we see around the area right now. And it really depends on, county by county, how much sunshine you're actually seeing at the moment. And here's a look at some of that cloud cover that we have around the area. Notice kind of, along the river and off to the south, we've got most of the clouds, seeing more sunshine here up around Salem and Scottsburg, Austin, Seymour, Bedford, Paoli, Charlestown, seeing more sunshine. So a little more cloud cover in Kentucky at the moment, but that will certainly change. And then earlier this morning, we had a couple little tiny showers moving through the Mount Washington, East Bullitt, and into Spencer County, Kentucky, around Mount Washington and over to Taylorsville, but those have since faded away. As we look at the broader view, the more active weather is out to our west for now, and I think we'll see more of that active weather head our way tomorrow, so a better chance of some of these showers popping up for our Wednesday. There is a front. It's a kind of a weak stationary front that is settling over the area really pretty much all week. So that kind of boundary is going to spark occasional showers and thunderstorms here for us for the rest of this week. And we are going to stay on the south side of that front, which means we're going to be on the muggy side of that front as well. So looks like things are operating just fine. I was just checking out the live stream here on Facebook. So thanks for joining us here on this July the 8th. Going to check out some comments popping in this morning. We've got Orlean Whitlow. Good morning from Hodgenville. Got a little rain last night. Yeah, it was good I know a lot of you, I'd say most of you are happy that we got some of these downpours moving through. But what we'll see here in a second, my son had a golf match. It's a Champions Point up in Memphis, Indiana, and we got downpoured on several times. So it was a little bit challenging out there. They had to shorten the match a little bit. Perry Porter popping in from Borden, got the yard mowed yesterday before it got hot and wet. So good timing for you, Perry. And I'm hoping I can not mow this week. The weeds are kind of taking over. I don't know if anybody else's yard. So we have I would call it a yard and not a lawn. I would say, springtime, early summer, the grass is in full control. Looks nice and green and all that good stuff. And then right around this time of the year, the weeds are now taking control. So now I'm mowing, I would say, half and half. But that's, as long as it's green, it's good in my opinion. We're out in the woods. I'm not trying to impress anybody with the perfect lawn. Beverly Haggis, thanks for tuning in from Borden as well. And we've got Marilyn Monahan. Looking good. Thank you very much, Marilyn. Good morning to, just passed over Lillian Lasley. Got the rain last night. So I'd say most of us got at least a little bit of that rainfall. And Vicky from Salem. Way to go, Brady, yesterday. Thank you very much. I'll show you a couple pictures from that here in just a second. Dennis Gregory from Bedford. Still having to mow weekly. Yeah, me too. I get you. And I did the first weed and feed earlier this spring. Everything's looking great. I think I'm about time for that summer weed and feed as well. You just got to find that right timing after you cut the grass, not too much wind, right timing with the rain and all that good stuff. So the lawn is like an extra pet you just got to take care of this time of the year. All right, so we're moving on here. And let me bring back up. So thank you, Dennis, for popping in the comments this morning. So there's what's happening now. We're going to look at, of course, the forecast here in just a second, and looking at the current conditions as well. And a good way to look at those current conditions, you can just head to extolmag.com/weather. The currents are right here on the right side with the interactive radar. So if you look at the right side here, you're going to see me moving that radar around just with a click of the mouse there, and showing 77 degrees right now. Get your weather story. You got weather resources here for our region. And then the big full screen interactive radar, putting those temperatures on upper 70s, low 80s. So the temperatures aren't skyrocketing out there thanks to some cloud cover. Remember last week in the heat wave, we had temperatures already up to around 90 by this time of the morning. So looking at mostly upper 70s for the most part across the area, and pretty quiet conditions. Again, if you back up far enough, you're going to see the rain pop in that's out to our west for now. And I think, again, that general disturbance will kind of ride along that stationary front, head our way late tonight and into tomorrow morning. It looks like we'll have some of that heading our direction. You see a couple lightning strikes popping up on that interactive radar right there as well. Lillian, I got goats to help you with the grass. That would be nice. Nice to have some friendly, crazy goats running around, eating up everything on the property. All right, so, and here's another live look outside. Love to check out this view every morning of the Falls of the Ohio. This is the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org. And there you can see a little bit of the cumulus cloud cover that we have out there now. Lillian, the goats are doing a good job on your grass. I'm going to hold off on the goats for now. It sounds like more to take care of, actually. I want to thank Lions Roofing, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Call 812-294-3595. You see the free estimates that they have there at lionsroofingco.com. Also, if you go to careers, there's an opportunity maybe for someone in your family member. Maybe it's your son, your daughter, grandchildren. Tell them about this opportunity, roofing repair technician. And this is the application. So check it out, answer some questions, and send it on off to a great locally family-owned roofing company, Lions Roofing, Lyons, out of Memphis, Indiana. A bunch of job postings still here. I'll refresh it at libspaving.com. So these are the latest postings there. Look at all these jobs there. So there are opportunities here in Southern Indiana for you. That is libs, L-I-B, Ben, B as in Ben, spaving.com, libspaving.com, and then there's the job postings right there. And a shout out to Sellersburg, the Ivy Tech Sellersburg campus, by the way. They are recognized for excellence in military student support. So they were recently awarded the Collegiate Purple Star of Indiana, the CPSI, support for military affiliated students, veterans, active duty, and their families. So kudos to Ivy Tech right here in Sellersburg for helping out our military families and active duty members. 42 programs offered. If you're in high school, really think about the DC, the dual credit. That'll give you a head start as you head into college. So thanks to all that they do and all the partnerships that they have in our community right here. And a reminder, you can become an advertising partner with us right here. Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. We can be your Southern Indiana megaphone and help you out with marketing, advertising. If you want to sponsor up, again, just email me, ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com as well. And tomorrow is Wednesday with Weddington. So he custom home builder, awesome dude out of Henryville. So give me just a shout in the comment if you have any questions for anything around your home. What might be bugging you? Sometimes if you've been in your home for a while, it can be like whack-a-mole. You fix one thing and then another thing pops up. So if you have any issues around the home, drop it in the comments and we'll get with Brad tomorrow, Wednesday with Weddington. Moving right along here. Here's that play ball forecast today. Stray shower chance. I've only got it at about a 10% chance, up to about the upper 80s this afternoon. It'll feel a little warmer than that with the humidity. And actually some of the weather model data was showing some 60s dew points this afternoon instead of 70s. Not sure if you'll actually notice it, but it might be just slightly more comfortable. But at the same time, we're evaporating some of the water that was put in the ground from the storms yesterday. It might be a wash, pun intended here for us. All right, so upper 80s today, a light wind coming in from the west-southwest, and again, only about a 10% chance of that stray shower for today. Shout out to my son Brady right here. So we got downpoured on several times, but this was a Southern Indiana junior golf match yesterday afternoon at Champions Point. He's in the middle there. He got the number one, the lowest score, shot a 41 on 9 holes. And notice the flag there that he was awarded, sponsored by NWSB, our partners here at Extol Media. So thanks to NWSB for helping out the young golf community out there. So speaking of downpours, so this was right after, this was getting off the first hole, heading to the second hole. It's a par 3. You can see the pavement's wet, and immediately the sun came out, and then you're evaporating. You can't see it real well, but looking along that cart path, you can see the mist or the kind of the fog, the steam coming off the ground as it was evaporating really quickly. So there was really no way to get comfortable or used to anything. The rain would cool you down. It was making their scorecards all soggy. Their socks were wet. It looked like they just jumped into a pool. That's how heavy these downpours they were. And the downpours came from these towering cumulonimbus clouds. Cumulus are those puffy clouds. Nimbus means when the cloud gets big enough to produce rain. Towering cumulonimbus clouds, because how tall they were. And every once in a while, you might see when they're shooting up, these towering cumulus clouds, a little cap, a little smooth cap on top, and that is a pileus cloud, Pileus, pileus. Those are kind of cool too, very photogenic when that happens. So tropical nature clouds out there. So I was out on the golf course with them and following those guys playing yesterday and taking some of these photos of those towering cumulonimbus clouds. UV index at 10 today. If you have some cloud cover, maybe a little bit lower. Either way, easy to burn out there. Mike Sievert, thanks for popping in with a good morning. Good to see you on board here. And a little bit of good news as far as the allergy report. It is all low. So we're going from, like, we used to have grass and tree pollen. Well, that's all matured now. Now we've got the weeds growing. So we're going to be sliding into the weed pollen season. But yeah, a little good news there. Shouldn't be bothering too many of us out there with the pollen that is spreading around the area. Now, I was finding this interesting. So today's sunset, our days are getting shorter and shorter, and this might be surprising to you, that our days are going to get 20 minutes shorter. So we're going to lose 20 minutes of daylight between now and July 24th. So like a couple weeks away, we're already down 20 minutes of daylight. And then we don't want to look at it at the bottom there. 117 days away from a 5:42 p.m. sunset. All right, let's go back here, though. So July 24th, we've got our earlier sunsets. That sunset July 24th is actually at 8:59. I need to correct that. And then our before 8 p.m. sunsets, September 9th. So 2 months away, and our daylight is 2 hours less. So just in 2 months, basically, we're losing an hour of daylight per month. And then between now and November 2nd, we lose 4 hours of daylight. So each day, we're losing a minute or two, basically, of daylight all the way until we hit the winter solstice, the beginning of winter time. And then right after winter begins, we gradually get longer days, day by day. All right, our high today up to 89 degrees. Here's your July 8th forecast. That stray shower chance at 10%, so not a big deal with that. And a west wind at around 5 to 10, our sunset at 9:08. And overall partly cloudy out there. Tonight, partly cloudy, humid, and isolated shower possible, low of 71 degrees, calm conditions, and our sun up at 6:28. Tomorrow's forecast here in detail for your Wednesday, July the 9th, 72 out the door. It does look like a better chance of some spotty showers around tomorrow morning. There's a little energy rides along this stationary front, and then maybe a little bit drier as we go into the afternoon, but still going to give it about a 40% chance of a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Doesn't look like we have the energy for any severe weather, just a downpour possible with a high up to 88 degrees. I think the extra clouds and some of the showers around will keep it from getting into the 90s for tomorrow. So that's your Wednesday. Looking ahead to Thursday, 30% chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm with a high of 88, and then mostly dry Friday with a high of 91. So this is a flip-flop from yesterday. So yesterday I had Sunday being the wetter day. Well, now the Euro and the GFS are calling for Saturday to potentially be a wetter day with some spotty showers and thunderstorms as a front tries to move through the region. Should give us some drier weather Sunday. So Sunday now might be kind of the better day of the weekend. And then we're still in this pop-up pattern, lower 90s and some pop-up showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon. Kind of, again, a very repeatable rinse and repeat pattern. But if you look at it overall, I would say tomorrow and Saturday right now, kind of the better rain chances when compared and contrasted to the other days. All of them kind of look similar, though, with upper 80s and lower 90s throughout that extended outlook. So that's your forecast. And usually it's around 10:20 that we move along to the weather model data and dig in with Big Happy here. I was just looking at the radar. They've got a ton of rain around Cape Girardeau, southeastern Missouri right now. But it looks like that'll stay west of us. Vicky Berger, hate the shorter days. Yeah, minute by minute. But we're still enjoying the overall the longest days of the year and the latest sunsets here, still here in early July. So we still got that going for us for a little bit longer. And here you go. We're looking at the active weather out west in Missouri. So I do think some of that will head our way tomorrow. I think that does stay put out to the west of us today, other than maybe a stray shower chance. And Perry popping in again this morning. I've been thinking about getting a mower that mows itself, but I'm afraid it'll short out and come after me. So my neighbor Steve got one of those, and he actually loved it because he's like me on a very steep hill, and it has the tracks on it, and it actually has GPS, so you can program it and put boundaries, and it will mow pretty steep hills and everything like that. So, and I think they're kind of similar price to just a nice riding lawnmower. So maybe something to check out. That's where we're at. Robot lawnmowers this day and age. All right, we're going to go ahead and now dig into that weather model data. So that means I need to bring up, I think, a dry here, active weather out west. We just have some passing clouds. Most of the clouds along and south of the Ohio River right now. Back out of full screen mode here and bring up today's future radar. There we go. And can you guess what weather model we're going to use first? You guessed it. It's the HRRR High Resolution Rapid Refresh Weather Model. This is time now. It's picking up on a few of those showers that moved through Spencer County around Taylorsville a little bit earlier this morning. So at least it's kind of picked up on that, even though those showers have kind of faded away. This is at 2 o'clock today. It's showing that rain kind of fading out to our west, so mainly dry. Kick this up into 4 o'clock this afternoon. Not much happening. A little better chance of maybe a shower toward Evansville. And then we'll go ahead to 6 o'clock. It's looking dry and pretty quiet around here. You can see the storm chances developing out west of us along that front. That's out towards Illinois and Missouri. So not like yesterday. Today looking mostly dry. Clara Matthews, thanks for watching this morning. Thanks for the good morning as well. We'll go ahead to 8 o'clock as we approach sunset. Notice the storms out west of us. So I was looking at this with you yesterday morning, And it did time out some storms moving in for late tonight. But I want to see if these things will hold together here, because I'm looking at this fresh eyeballs with you. I haven't looked at this before now. But I look at weather model data all day long, so I've got a general sense of what they're saying. Here is 10 p.m. It's 11 o'clock. And notice it does. Later in the night, it starts to show those showers and thunderstorms on a weakening trend, kind of losing that daytime heating, and you lose the punch a lot of times of those showers and thunderstorms if you don't have a lot more energy with it. If you don't have a strong front or what we call a short wave or a low-level jet, these are kickers for storms. We don't have a ton of energy out there to kick up these storms. So this is through 2 a.m. We might see, again, a stray shower later on tonight. Looks like that better chance off to the southwest over western Kentucky. I'm going to pop in the 48-hour version of the HRRR weather model. So this is going into 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. It does show a little bit of rainfall here developing tomorrow morning. Just some spotty stuff around. This is 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. There you can see just some scattered rain shower activity tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. So it looks like a better chance of some of this rain around for tomorrow from time to time. Not a washout, though. And we've got Deborah Carney with a good morning as well. Thank you. Good morning to you. Simon from Scotland. We're doing good here. Simon, how's it going your way? So if you're what, 4 or 5 hours behind? I'm guessing 5 hours, maybe 4 hours behind. So you're at what, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon? All right, let's go to the NAM 3 kilometer. It is the other high resolution weather model that we often look at. I'm going to start this off at right now. So it's showing mainly dry conditions as well. Into the afternoon we go. I'm going to shoot this up to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That is our 2 o'clock map, and it shows just a sprinkle chance in a few isolated areas. We're going to pop this up to 4 o'clock. Again, it looks like that better chance towards Evansville and Vincennes as far as maybe a shower that way. 5, 6 o'clock, pretty quiet. Not much activity around our area for today. Now, what is interesting, it does show toward evening time a round of showers and storms developing there over central Illinois, just like the high resolution rapid refresh weather models. But so where does that rain go and what time? And will it fall apart just like the other weather model did? And it looks like that is kind of the trend here as we go to, yeah, it's falling apart along that front. So we might, if it holds together a little bit, we might get a shower from that during the overnight hours. There's just not a lot of energy overall to keep that going. All right, I'm going to jump ahead to around sunrise tomorrow morning. This is the NAM 3 kilometer, and it is showing there some of that scattered showers moving our direction. Late morning especially. It's around 11 a.m. We're going to stop it right there. So there you can see that rain chance over us tomorrow, especially late morning. Going to jump ahead to 2 o'clock for your July the 9th, tomorrow afternoon. There you can see it does have some rain chances around the area. So it might not be the best mowing day tomorrow, I guess I should say. There it shows still a chance for some showers into tomorrow afternoon as well. We've got a comment from Christian Walker. Good morning. Anything comes in Indianapolis, Indiana. I live in Carmel. I've got family up that way too. Christian lived in Indianapolis 23 years. Now in Carmel, I'm in Lake. 4 weeks summer break. Yeah, nothing real crazy. Just same kind of weather pattern. You're probably cooler up there for your break. What is that? Lake Leelanau? I've never heard of that. Enjoy your summer break. I'm a little jealous. You probably got some more refreshing air up that way, north of the front. That will give us some occasional showers and thunderstorms, but nothing crazy heading towards Indianapolis, it doesn't look like, or Carmel on the north side of Indianapolis. All right, so this is going into later in the day, Wednesday. Wednesday evening. And notice out west tomorrow night, it tries to show some showers and thunderstorms. So it looks like the stronger storms are originating out in central Illinois, and then will they hold together is kind of the question mark for us, late tonight, tomorrow morning, and then also as we go into Thursday morning. So this is going into the 10th on Thursday, and it's showing maybe a shower or storm chance during the late night, early morning hours. This is at 3 a.m. Thursday morning. So we get the picture, some occasional showers and thunderstorms in that forecast. Ooh, good question here. Kendall Boyd, any chance the dew points will drop? And I want to dive deep into that question as we look at the dew points, but the precipitable water, which is just same kind of deal. It's how much moisture the air is holding, how much H2O that we have in our air. So we're going to take a look at that. There might be almost an unnoticeable drop in it this afternoon from 70s dew points to 60s, but we're 70s dew points through this weekend, through next week. But the GFS and the Euro, the longer range weather models, calling for maybe a little bit of a cool down late next week. So we're pretty, soupy and humid here with our humid, muggy weather pattern through probably at least the middle of next week. But we'll look at the long range data with that. Love the question there, Kendall Boyd. Thanks for that. All right, so looking at the rain chances for now, I want to go ahead and go into our longer range weather model data. So this is going to put us into the GFS weather model. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to Thursday. That is going to be the 10th. We'll go Thursday afternoon. Maybe a pop-up in the afternoon. Nothing organized here for us. And then into Friday, the 11th afternoon. Really not showing much around the region. Afternoon, you get the air to warm up. A couple of these cumulus clouds might be big enough to give us an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Now, will we see something become a little more organized as we head into Saturday? So they're trying to bring a front through Saturday, which would give us a better chance for some scattered showers. That's what this is showing at 2 p.m. Saturday. Front moving into the area. And then trying to get that front to move south on Sunday. So now this is Sunday, July the 13th, showing mainly dry conditions around the area. So if this plays out, Saturday, better chance of rain than Sunday if you're planning out the weekend. Christian, 4th of July was good. Had a pretty chill weekend, a little pool time, a little lake time, listening to fireworks time. Hope yours was good as well. All right, so this is our Sunday. Again, looking drier than Saturday. We could go into the Ben on the limb segment here where we get a little far out with the weather models. We'll go into next Monday, July the 14th, showing a pop-up shower or thunderstorm chance, and into the 15th afternoon. Again, maybe a pop-up storm chance. Let's get back to Kendall's question. Let's go precipitable water, and let's go back to now. So here we go. We're going to zoom out again in a billionaire's rocket to outer space. So precipitable water, this is anything in the red and even some of that yellow. That is humid air that you will feel. You can see out west in the Rockies, in the plateau areas, and out to the west coast and the desert, they don't have much moisture as usual. Now there is a front over the region. So Kentucky might end up, this is for today, actually a little bit muggier than Indiana. So the blue is what you would want. I can pop up the dew points here. So here's the dew point right now. And there are actually some lower, like the farther north you can get in Indiana, the better it's going to feel. So we're seeing some 60s dew points. Lower the dew point, the better for comfort. And then you can see 70s dew points over the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So more humid south of the river. The more north you go north of the river today, a little bit lower humidity. All right, so let's get back to precipitable water. Oops, there we go. All right, so there's just, it's kind of cool, but there's just a little bit of a wedge of slightly drier air over us for today, over southern Indiana. Again, that's not the case over Kentucky. So even a little bit of a difference this time of the year can make a difference in how the air feels out there. Now, going into this afternoon, this is at 5 o'clock today. Again, just kind of interesting to see this little bit of wedge of drier air, but again, not so for Kentucky or Illinois. So you might feel that a little bit out there today. Okay, let's go into tomorrow afternoon. Some muggy air over us. And this is not going to change, by the way, as we go day by day. Not change very much. So yeah, it is a whole lot muggier south. You're probably talking upper 70s dew points down over the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and then a little bit muggier as well northwest of us, where moisture is pooling ahead of a front there in Illinois and Missouri. But again, the yellow is pretty muggy air as well. Are going into the 11th. This is Friday afternoon. Boom! There you go. We're back in the sauce here. So this is all just tropical air on top of 70s dew points. That is your Friday the 11th. I'm going to jump ahead to, let's go ahead and jump ahead to Sunday, because the air mass is not going to change, the air that we have over us. So we'll go to Sunday afternoon. Let's see if there's any change. All right, so Sunday looks like kind of like today, where there is a front. This is more refreshing air. How far south will that punch through? And muggy over Kentucky. So Kentucky really not ever getting a break, but parts of Indiana might occasionally get slightly drier air. So that's Sunday. We go and push this ahead to Monday. And I believe Monday was just looking, hot and humid on the 14th. Yeah, so there you go. So that's what you have. You got a stationary front. It kind of wobbles. So if it wobbles just far enough south, you might barely get slightly more refreshing air, lower dew points, and then it wobbles back north, and then you're back in the mugginess, as you can see all across the area. So Friday looking especially muggy into Saturday and also next Monday. All right, we'll shoot ahead to next Tuesday, the 15th afternoon. Muggy all over the place, even up into the Great Lakes, that humid air goes. But let's go to like next Thursday. Let's see if we can get any change here. So that would be heading into the 17th, deep into the middle part of July next week. Okay, so this is the real deal here. Will this happen? Now, the European weather model also had this. So keep in mind, this is looking out to next Thursday, the 17th. So next week. But that is a push of Canadian air right there. That is dry air. And this is far out. Will this happen? We are going to have to wait and see. But there is some indication, a pretty strong signal from not only the GFS, but the European weather model, that we could have, again, some drier air trying to win out late next week. All right, going into Friday, I believe that is the 18th, late next week. And this would be nice. check out that front. That would have some power to it. So look at this, like the shape of this. That would be some good, like Great Lakes Canadian air. And then you can see the shape of that front pushing all of the mugginess down over the south and southeast. So yeah, that would be our biggest hope of some mid-July relief from the humidity if we can get that to happen. That's something that'll be interesting to watch day by day. You know, sometimes the front doesn't end up as strong, and then we end up with the humid air still sitting over us. But if this can happen, that would be our best chance. Yeah, Kindle, that is better. That would be our best chance. Oh, I got you, David. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. All right, so let's go. Let's see how farther out we can go. We'll go. I think Saturday would be the 19th. And once again, as we look at the big view here, that would be nice. Pushing all the tropical stuff down over the south. So this, hey, let's just keep track. So we're, week and a half away from this. This is a big question, like, will it happen? So let's keep tabs on that for late next week. That would be a big game changer. That would be like a rare time you get some good, refreshing air to move in and give us a little bit of a break. So keep tabs. Like that would be the next, not this Friday, but next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that we might get a little bit of a break right there. So good question there from Kendall Boyd saying, now that's better. Thanks for the question. That was a good one. Looking at a different product here, let's go to the Climate Prediction Center. And sometimes they will, they'll get the hint as well at the long range weather model data. This shows the 6 to 10 day outlook. So this is looking toward, the middle of next week and generally kind of near normal temperatures, which is what I have, upper 80s, low 90s. Normal high is 89 this time of the year. Going to the 8 to 14 day outlook, not much change, maybe slightly above average. I think, if that signal still exists for that cool down late next week, let's see if the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, also starts to show some blue on the map. That would be interesting. You're so welcome. Thanks for watching this morning, Mr. Boyd. And let's look at the Storm Prediction Center. So we have no risk. This is the lightest green is what's called just general thunderstorms, but we're again mostly dry across our area today. Out towards Washington, D.C., New York is where there is a slight risk of severe storms for today. We go to day 2 tomorrow. No risk of severe storms for us. It's a summertime pattern. There's only, Northern Plains has level 1 out of 5, and the Mid-Atlantic 1 out of 5. Getting into the, the kind of the lazy days of summer where we don't have a lot of severe weather. Day 3, a slight risk of severe storms. That is out towards western Iowa and eastern Nebraska. So no biggie for us. The tropics are quiet right now. Kind of midsummer weather here for us. All right, that is it. That is the weather model data. We'll get back into the forecast here. Do a recap of all of that. We'll remove that. We can actually take a little peek outside again at the live conditions. So you got some high cirrus clouds. You've got some low cumulus clouds growing out there as well. Live look from uptown New Albany here at the corner of Vincennes and Market, Extol Media Studios at 1040 on your July the 8th. Thanks for joining Ben at 10 this morning. And a reminder, too, tomorrow, Wednesdays with Weddington. If you have any questions around your home, again, if your home's getting a little age to it, there's a lot of things that pop up. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comments. I'll take a peek at that. And for Brad, we always like to check in with Brad a couple times a month for his expertise. Here's that forecast. David Phillips, thank you so much. Thanks for dropping in the comments there. Awesome presentation. So the forecast here for today, upper 80s, humid, less humid the farther north of the river you go today. So there's just a little pocket of slightly drier air. Laura, you're just in time. We're getting back to the forecast here. Happy to have you on board, as always. And just another shout out to my son Brady there in the middle. He got the #1 spot. He had the lowest round at Champions Point for I think the juniors, the junior age for Southern Indiana Junior Golf. Sponsored by NWSB. Thanks for supporting our local community golf there, NWSB. So it was funny. They took it in stride, as did the parents, with these huge downpours that came through the area yesterday in the afternoon. And if you look closely here, you can see the steam rising off the golf path there. As the sun came out, it just made it super humid, and then another downpour would come. So it was wet golf gloves, wet shoes, wet socks, wet everything, wet golf cards, with these towering cumulonimbus clouds that we had out there providing these downpours across the area. Today, like yesterday, UV index of 10. I do think we'll see some of these clouds clear out for the afternoon. Allergy report is low with the grass and weed pollen out there, just splicing in a little bit of good news there for us. And this is interesting here. So the sunset now at 9:08. By July 24th, ignore that sunset time. I need to fix that for 8:59. But we lose 20 minutes of daylight between now and July 24th, a little bit later this month. And then we're losing about an hour of daylight per month. As we go to September 9th, we get before 8 p.m. sunsets. So just in 2 months, we're down 2 hours of daylight. And then by November 2nd, we got that time change. We're at 5:42 p.m. It's a little over 100 days away, and we lose 4 hours of daylight. So we're on the downward trend as far as daylight goes. 89, that forecast high today for your July 8th today. 10% chance or less. Most of the area will be dry this afternoon, partly cloudy. So not like yesterday, drier day today. West winded around 5 to 10. And tonight, an isolated shower possible, low 71 degrees. Otherwise, pretty calm night out there. And your forecast tomorrow for your Wednesday, July the 9th, 72 out the door. I do think there's a little better chance of some spotty showers around mid to late morning especially. And then maybe a little drier in the afternoon, but giving it about a 40% chance of a pop-up afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. No severe weather with this. And temps in the upper 80s with probably more clouds tomorrow than today. 7-day forecast, 30% chance of that shower or thunderstorm Thursday with a high of 88, 91 for Friday, mostly dry Friday. It looks like a front will try to move through Saturday. That should give us more of a spark for some scattered showers and thunderstorms right now for Saturday. That was kind of flip-flop from yesterday. Sunday was like the day the front was going to move through. Now the models have upped that to Saturday. So then maybe Sunday will end up drier. We're going to continue to fine-tune that as we move along. And then typical kind of midsummer weather, lower 90s, Monday, Tuesday, pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible there both days as well. Now, if you're Laura, you may have missed the relief part of the show. If you're watching the replay, that was probably around 10. When did Kendall ask that question? 10:35. It's about 10 minutes ago. Probably the most interesting portion of Ben at 10 was will we get this big, huge push of dry air from Canada late next week? So that would be what we watch and monitor for some relief next week. And Laura says, I don't like losing daylight. And Vicky agrees. I think a lot of us agree with that. I love the long days, the late sunsets. So you're not only losing the daylight from taking, a minute or two from the sunset. So our sunset, now is 9:08. It'll be 9:07 soon. But you're also making the sun rises later. So our sunrise right now is 6:27. Tomorrow 6:28. So you're squeezing out the daylight from the beginning and the end of the day, from sunrise and the sunsets. And Karen Pate, this will be better than what we've been having. The allergies has been so uncomfortable. It was a rough spring. I think it's how wet it was. A lot of pollen flying around, some mold spores out there. But for now, midsummer typically is when we have the lowest pollen of the growing season. And then we start to ramp up the ragweed and other weed pollen, plantain, late summer and into fall. If you're a ragweed person, then that's when you start to suffer from that. So we're kind of in a quiet zone right now as far as that goes. 10:45 on a Tuesday. Moving right along here. Why do we lose daylight? Because the sun is tilted on its axis. As we go around the sun, which makes a year, the sun's direct rays get lower and lower in latitude, and then we lose daylight because we lose the angle of the sun. And that's why we have the seasons as well. So the next season, of course, is fall, and it's called the vernal, which means fall, or no, excuse me, the autumnal, which means obviously fall or autumn. And it's the equinox. That's when the sun's direct rays are over the equator. Right now, we just had the beginning of summer, so the direct rays were over the Tropic of Cancer. I think that's what, 23.5 degrees latitude north. And so if you look up right around noon, the sun is like directly up. Well, that is going to change day by day. The sun angle gets lower and lower. It'll be lower in the sky around September 21st, where we have the autumnal equinox and the sun's direct rays are over the equator. And then we go towards the winter solstice. That's when the sun's direct rays are south of the equator, and we get the very short days and the very early sunsets. And then once we get past the winter solstice, the beginning of wintertime, the sun angle actually starts to increase as we head towards the vernal equinox, when the sun's rays are back over the equator at the beginning of springtime. And then we're back to around June 21st when we have the sun's direct rays over the Tropic of Cancer. So there you go. That is the answer to that question. I'm going to bring this one back up here. And for those of you just hopping on, I want to give a shout out to Ivy Tech, Sellersburg, right here in our backyard, recognized here recently for excellence in military student support, awarded the Collegiate Purple Star of Indiana, CPSI, support for military affiliated students, veterans, active duty, and their families. So thanks to not only their support for the military, but also they're partnering up with businesses, a bunch of schools in the area, just really trying to make it as easy as possible, and probably the easiest way there to get college credits early. I know some high school students graduating with their certification already and jumping right into the workforce. So there you go. Check it out, ivytech.edu. 42 programs offered. Today's Tuesdays at the Tech. You can register for that, get one-on-one information. Right now it's the summer session, August 25th. You can register for the fall sessions. Get that certification, get your job, get to the job here at Libs Paving Co. Inc., libspaving.com. So each line right here, if you click on it, is a job. Project manager, for instance. So Libs is one of the biggest paving contractors around the region. They're out of Floyd's Knobs, and you can see all of the responsibilities, the duties, the core values, the qualifications, the benefits, all of that. 401k. So that is libspaving.com. So if you got a family member, friend looking for an opportunity, there you go. There's another one at Lyons Roofing, roofing repair technician. Lyons Roofing, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime, that being your roof. You can call them 812-294-3595, or just head to lionsroofingco.com. So lionsroofingco.com. Get free estimates if you have any roofing questions, of course, but there's career section right there too. So again, thanks to all of our partners out there, helping out our community, offering jobs, offering education. Awesome partners to have. Back to a live view out there now at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation CAM, looking at the fossil beds out towards the railroad bridge and downtown Louisville, Ashland Park. Everything's still deep green because we've certainly had plenty of rain this year, which we continue to have enough rain to keep us out of any drought conditions, which is certainly nice. Look at the live interactive radar at extolmag.com/weather. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 70s to the lower 80s and currently dry across the area. The closest rain out towards Paducah, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, southeastern Missouri. And that's likely where most of that rain is going to stay today. Reminder, there's a lot of resources here for you at extolmag.com/weather. We got our live show up there, interactive radars as usual, 7-day forecast posted every day, and lots of local resources there for you to keep you up to date, up to speed on our always changing weather here in the lovely Ohio Valley. Boom, one more look outside as FedEx is driving up Vincennes out there busy this morning with some cumulus clouds. Again, we'll see it. It's like clockwork. We'll see the cumulus clouds growing bigger and bigger into the sky as we head through the day, and maybe one or two producing a shower. Laura, I'm hoping for that Canadian air for sure. So let's cross our fingers on that. We're going to keep tabs on that. We're going to be looking at that precipitable water, that dew point map every day until we get there. And hopefully that front will stay strong enough. It will beat back that tropical air late next week. So maybe some midweek July relief. Laura, I think this is going to depend on location. Have you noticed a shortage of bees this year on the flowers? I've seen a lot of like hornets and wasps, and out where we live by around a lot of trees, the boring bees. They bore into all the decks and everything. They're horrible, but they don't sting usually. My buddy Chad got stung by a hornet 2 days ago and was all swelled up. So there are a lot of those pest bees out there, meaning like hornets and wasps, but I haven't seen like regular old honeybees. And I know there's been, I think, a nationwide shortage of the honeybees, if I'm not mistaken. So seen a lot of the other bees out there, but not the good old friendly honeybees. Here's a horrible trick my brother played on me, by the way, when I was like 5 years old, and I still remember this, maybe 6. He said, so the honeybees would used to land on like the clover flower, the little white flower. And he said, if you put your hands around it and cup it, and they don't see light, then they won't sting you. So I was like, cool, let me try it out. So I go and I'd get stung. So I had little like red marks in the palm of my hand. For some reason, they stayed around for a long, long time, for like years. But that's what big brothers are good for, right? Getting you stung. Christian, we're looking for the last comments before we wrap up our Ben at 10 here at 10:53. I was in Clifty Falls on June 21st to the 23rd. Had a great time. Haven't been there before. Yeah, we've got a lot to offer here in southern Indiana. A lot of great parks, state parks, hiking trails galore. Laura said, oh my gosh, your brother. And we got an LOL from David. So yeah, don't do that trick to your younger brother. One among many tricks that was played on me back when I was a child. Back in the 80s was a different time. All right. We'll wrap it up with the LOL from David. Thanks for watching here, guys. Reminder, follow our pages, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, getting those YouTube followers up. Easy way to bring up the HD Ben at 10 on your big screen there at home on the wall there. So hit that red button there, the subscribe to our YouTube channel, Extol Media. We've got a Extol Weather section there. You get notifications when we pop up live, whether it's our daily Ben at 10 Monday through Friday, or maybe we're covering a severe weather event and maybe we're on for hours. We'll do that as well. So thanks for joining us there at extolmag.com/weather. Vicky's saying, giving us some advice here. You can use the WD-40 and the wood bees won't keep boring. So yeah, in those holes, just spray a little WD-40. Good tip there. Lillian Lasley, might be your last. You might be the last comment this morning. Take care. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, July the 9th on Ben at 10. Have a great day.